Welcome. Today, as we mark International Women's Day, let's step beyond the usual narratives, forget the flowers and the well-worn tales. We're diving into the shadows of history, unearthing the surprising, the strange, and the profoundly counterintuitive truths about women's contributions and challenges. Prepare to be fascinated by facts your textbooks never dared to mention. Let's begin with the very origin of this day. Most people imagine it began with a grand, unified women's rights movement, but the truth is far more radical and specific. The first National Women's Day in the U.S. in 1909 was declared by the Socialist Party of America. The idea for its international day came from Clara Zetkin, a German Marxist theorist, at a 1910 conference. And the chosen date of March 8th? It solidified after women textile workers in Petrograd, Russia, went on strike for bread and peace, on that day in 1917, igniting the spark that would become the Russian Revolution. This wasn't a celebration of womanhood, it was a fierce, political demand for workers' rights, peace, and suffrage, rooted in socialist ideals, a far cry from the modern perception. Me. For centuries, we're taught that science and invention were almost exclusively male domains. Yet, reach into antiquity, and you find figures like Maria the Jewess, a woman alchemist from the 1st to 3rd century AD. She's not just a footnote. Maria is credited with inventing some of the most fundamental pieces of laboratory equipment still in use today. Take the bain-marie, or Maria's bath, a double boiler used for gentle heating, indispensable in kitchens and chemistry labs alike. She also devised the trabikos and karotakis, complex distillation and sublimation apparatus critical to early chemical processes. Her inventions predate many of the famed male alchemists and set the stage for modern chemistry, yet her name rarely appears in science textbooks. It forces us to question who history chooses to remember, and why. And see. Now for a truly counterintuitive truth about human anatomy and medical science. For centuries, across various cultures and enlightened periods, the clitoris, a vital organ for female pleasure, was either ignored, pathologized, or actively misrepresented in anatomical texts. Even renowned anatomists through the 16th and 17th centuries either minimized its size, drew it inaccurately, or omitted it entirely. This wasn't due to lack of observation, it was a conscious or subconscious cultural bias. It wasn't until the late 20th and early 21st century that its full, complex anatomical structure, including its extensive internal network, was accurately and widely mapped and understood by mainstream medicine. This isn't just a historical curiosity, it highlights how deep-seated cultural discomfort can distort even supposedly objective scientific inquiry, influencing medical understanding and women's health for millennia. Our perception of groundbreaking engineering often conjures images of men in hard hats. But what if one of the greatest engineering feats of the 19th century was largely overseen by a woman whose contributions were systematically downplayed? We're talking about the Brooklyn Bridge. After her husband, Chief Engineer Washington Roebling, became incapacitated by Caisson disease, his wife, Emily Warren Roebling, stepped in. She not only became the liaison to the construction site, interpreting her husband's instructions and relaying them to the engineers, but she also developed an extensive knowledge of materials, stress analysis, cable construction, and fluid mechanics. For over a decade, she was the de facto chief engineer, handling daily supervision, legal negotiations, and public relations. At its completion, she was the first person to cross the bridge by carriage, yet her unprecedented role was largely dismissed as assisting her husband. She wasn't just an assistant, she was an architect of modern infrastructure. In our final scene, let's look at a contemporary, insidious challenge, the gendered data gap. You might think in the age of big data, information is neutral. But the truth is, the world is largely designed for men, by men, based on data primarily collected from men. This isn't just about pink products, it has severe, counterintuitive consequences. Car crash test dummies, historically modeled on the average male, leading to women being significantly more likely to be seriously injured in collisions. Voice recognition software, often less accurate for female voices because it's trained predominantly on male speech. Medical research, dosages, and drug trials often don't account for female physiology. Even AI algorithms, fed with this biased historical data, perpetuate and amplify these inequalities, leading to discrimination in hiring, loan applications, and even facial recognition that struggles with darker-skinned women. The fight for equality isn't just in boardrooms, it's embedded in the very data that shapes our digital world, demanding we confront these hidden biases for a truly equitable future. Number C.